let's make the new button do something now that we have the core functionality in place to load and save tasks to disk. All right, let's close this guy out. Before we start, let's look at our code and see if there's anything we already wrote that we can use without refactoring. So our basic algorithm is going to be click that new button, show a file chooser, the user picks somewhere, and then we'll make a new task list. We will store it to disk, then we'll update our current file property, and then we'll call load tree. All right, so let's dig in, and this can all be done in the onClick lambda for the button. So let's go up to go up here to our constructor, and this will be for the new button. We can put this after our undo and redo buttons right here. So we can do let's see, new button dot onClick equals. All right, we'll start there. Let's capture this. Now we want to default to the user's documents folder, specifically a subdirectory whose name is this app's name, and we already did that down here. We did task folder equals special location, user documents directory, and then the project info thing. So we can just copy this line. We can just copy this stuff all together. And this is our starting place. We'll change the name a little bit from task folder. User docs app folder. All right, now we can make a file chooser. File chooser, we want this guy. Let's see, our title is gonna be, wait, not chooser dialog box, that's not the one we want, just file chooser. File chooser, this one right here. Let's see, we want this to display create a new task. Create a new task, ... Now I believe there are some extra parameters, like we can tell it where to start. Yeah, here we go. Okay, initial directory or file. Yeah, initial directory or file. And then patterns allowed. Okay, so we will do, we want this to start in our user docs folder, and then we want it to only allow task files, like that. And let's give it a name, chooser. And now we can say if chooser.browse for files, for file to open, file to save. That's what we want. Shows a dialog to choose a file to save. Warn about overwriting existing files. Sure, yes, always warn about that. That's always good to warn about. Okay. All right, now we can make a new tree. And the way we'll do that, first let's get the file that the user picked. This returns true if the user actually picked something. Returns true if the user chose a file and pressed OK. All right. What else did it have to say? In which case, use the getResult method to find out what the file was. Okay, easy enough. Auto result equals chooser.getResult. That's the file. And let's see. Let's make a new task tree. Auto new tree equals create tree. Let's give it the name of the file that was chosen. Let's see. Result.get file name. We don't want that .task to be included, so let's leave that out. Don't show the editor. And let's see. Let's add a sub task named just task. So new tree .add child. Create tree. Yeah, show the editor this time. Add it at the end. No. Do manager, and we'll just call it task. If I can spell task correctly, geez Louise. Okay. All right, now let's save this new tree to disk. So save tree to disk, new tree, and save it over the result. And let's show it. Result.reveal to user. Let's add a JAssert for that. Let's update the settings file with this new task. This should be refactored into a function at some point because these same steps are being used in a few places. The whole auto settings file equals get settings file, this step, and then the auto settings equals load tree from disk settings file. This stuff right here where we then pull the tree pull the tree out of the settings file. That should be turned into something. Okay, let's set this property now that we have a file to deal with. So settings.set property current file, and we want this to be the result, the full path name. No undo manager. And then let's update our settings file. Save tree to disk, settings, settings file. And then we can load this thing. Load tree. Why is that not showing autocomplete? Do I need a this? I do need a this. Load tree. That's the weirdest thing with Lambda bodies right there. All this stuff, this is all like free function stuff, but once we try to use a member function of the capture this, it won't show an autocomplete unless we type this. At least that's the way it is in Xcode. Maybe it's better in Visual Studio. All right, let's try it out. Okay, no default task. Let's make this. Okay, this looks fine. All right, we'll step out. Here's our task folder. Why are we in load tree right now? Ah, yes. Okay. We're just going to step through this. All right, we have our default task. This is loading this thing. Let's click that new button. Let's just save this as test. Okay. Let's move this. Full path name does not exist. Okay, test.task. All right. Step over, create it, and reveal to user. Is that here? There it is. Okay, cool. It's currently empty. And replace with text. Let's look at it. Let's open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, this looks like something. Very cool. Let's step on over. All right. Reveal to user. Oh, that's showing us this thing. Okay, we just looked at it. Now I'm curious, what does result? Does result, I ran into an issue when I first programmed this, in that result does not contain the extension. And here it does. So that's good. The solution, if it does not contain the extension, is to write this. If result.has extension. If it does not have this extension, then you can say result equals result dot with file extension task. Just a heads up on that. Okay, let's continue. And this is, let me just redo this. Okay, let's see if now that that's fixed, let's see if our see if it runs correctly now. All right, click the new button. Click. We're going to replace test.task. Yes, replace. All right, reveal to user, we already saw that. Let's just push continue. There we go. It showed our guy, awesome. Okay, let's quit and reopen. Okay. It is showing the editor still. So that's probably because we didn't save our tree after we click out of this and remove the show editor flag and stop showing the editor. So we can do that next.